Libby was definitely the most unusual inmate I had ever come across. While others just sat around waiting for the end, she worked on her body every single day. While everyone else was having fun, she was busy training hard. While she was working, she also found a chance to get in some arm exercises. She kept running laps around the prison yard, even when it was raining. Libby's efforts weren't about trying to escape, though. Everything was happening because she was cooking up a pretty scary plan for revenge. Libby was a young mom who really loved her husband and child, and she also had a best friend she'd known since childhood. You could say her life is pretty much perfect. You won't believe this. During a night boat trip, Libby woke up all covered in blood. So her husband just vanished without a trace. The police showed up right when they needed to, ready to search the boat, especially since her husband had forgotten a huge insurance policy. So, in the contract, it turns out Libby was the one who was supposed to benefit from it. Libby was found guilty by her husband's lawyer of intentionally taking her husband's life for the insurance payout. So she ended up in prison for no good reason. Her little boy was taken care of by her good friend. Out of nowhere, it turned out that her best friend and that jerk of a husband were in cahoots. These two had totally switched up their identities and relocated to a different place. So, during a phone call, they accidentally let it slip that he was still alive. Libby was absolutely heartbroken when she found out her husband had betrayed her. Those two nasty folks really thought Libby was going to be stuck in prison for life. It was quite surprising to see that Libby had such a strong will. She wasn't going to let circumstances get the best of her. Libby kept working on herself, always striving to improve. Just 6 years later, thanks to her amazing rehabilitation, Libby got a pardon and was released on probation. Before she got out, a fellow inmate, who used to be a lawyer, mentioned to her that Libby had already been convicted of killing her husband. So, even if you were to take him out again, the police can't come after you for it a second time. Libby woke up because of this statement. As soon as she got out, she headed straight to find out what was going on with her husband and best friend. Even though those two had run off to distant places, they couldn't escape being noticed. Her best friend, Green, was once an online teacher. She probably still knows a bit about herself. As soon as Libby spotted her name, she was completely taken aback. Can you believe there were more than 1,000 teachers who shared her name? If she looks for them one at a time, it could take forever. Libby was running out of time. So, at night, she managed to sneak out of her house arrest and headed over to the school where Green used to work. After breaking in and looking around for a bit, Libby quickly stumbled upon Green's file. But out of the blue, the police found her, and she had to make a quick getaway. Drawing on her physical training from prison, Libby sprinted, effortlessly jumping over the iron fence. The chubby cop just couldn't keep up with her. But sadly, because there were just so many of them, Libby was eventually caught after a chase. Libby kept insisting that she was innocent and that her husband was still alive, but sadly the police didn't. How could she just accept this without getting her revenge first? The following day, as they were heading back to prison, Libby kept insisting to the police that she was the one who had been wronged. The police chief was really frustrated by it. He paused, handcuffed her to the car door, and then headed off to grab a coffee at a nearby shop. He totally forgot that the keys were still in the car. As the chief was distracted, Libby came up with a plan to get away. There was a water pipe behind her. She was sure there was a way out. She fired up the engine and hit the gas, and her handcuffs brushed against the water pipe. It actually held up on the first try. Libby gave it another shot. Can you believe it? Just before things could go south, the police found her. As he dashed down, Libby quickly turned the steering wheel. And before they knew it, both she and the car were heading straight into the sea. They both got quickly swallowed up by the seawater. The police officer, feeling a bit hesitant, had to go ahead and unlock her handcuffs. Taking advantage of the moment, Libby grabbed his gun and made a run for it. The police chased after her, managed to catch up, but she ended up knocking one of them out. Later on, some folks on a ferry came to the rescue of the police, while Libby, being in great shape, just swam right to the shore. Right away, she called for a car to head back to her mom's place. When her only daughter made it back home after escaping prison, her mother didn't say a word. Instead, she just handed over a lump sum of money she had been saving for years. Libby grabbed the money and kept on with her quest for revenge. First, she had to track down where her ex-husband and her friend were. She visited a car dealership, acting like she was interested in buying a car on installment. So she handed over her best friend's social security number to the employee. The salesperson checked out the info using the data given. So Libby ended up finding out some details about her ex-husband and her friend, like where they live. Libby headed over right away, convinced she was about to get her revenge. Can you believe it? The new landlord mentioned to her that Green had passed away in a fire. Libby was totally shocked by what she saw. So where was her ex-husband at? Do you think he might have also killed her friend? Libby was on the lookout for news about that year's fire, hoping to uncover some clues. So in a twist of fate, Libby stumbled upon a clue in a newspaper about a painting that was hidden behind a wall. It's gotta be her ex-husband who bought it. The art gallery probably has his information. With that thought in mind, she quickly turned to the art dealer and asked about the painting. Luckily, she finally tracked down her husband's address. She had no idea that the police chief was already onto her and had followed her there. Right after she walked out, the police came rushing in too. As she saw him chasing her, she quickly took a chance and sped off in a car. She was looking to get justice for herself. After the address, Libby quickly located her husband's place. It turned out to be an embassy, which was surprising. The security there was pretty strict, making it tough to do anything. That evening, Libby looked amazing in her dress. She slipped in to check out the gala her ex-husband was hosting. Her ex-husband was enjoying a pretty lavish and respectable lifestyle. It's surprising to think that all he had came from hurting his wife. When he spotted his ex-wife Libby, you could see his whole demeanor shift right away. He was totally caught off guard when the wife, who was supposed to be in prison, showed up here. He pleaded with her to keep quiet, then unfairly pointed the finger at Green for having lured him in that year. But Libby already figured out he was a trickster. She just couldn't buy what he was saying. Libby mentioned that Green's death was definitely not an accident, especially since he ended up getting a big compensation because of it. Libby was insisting he give their son to her, or else she would spill the truth. Just as he was about to say something, the police chief showed up again out of the blue. Libby really had to go. The police officer showed the ex-husband Libby's photo to give him a heads up. Funny enough, he then pushed the police to hurry up and arrest her. Libby was just strolling down the street when suddenly she found herself surrounded by police. Luckily, a bolt of lightning hit, giving her the chance to sneak away right under the police's noses. The following day, Libby reached out to her ex-husband, asking him to bring their son to the public cemetery for a chat. Libby figured that since funerals happened there, and a lot of people would be around, he probably wouldn't risk trying anything sneaky. They met really quickly. Libby finally got to see her son again after being apart for 6 years. The boy was standing a little way off, but as she got closer, he quickly took off running. Libby quickly took off after him without a second thought. She had no idea she was walking right into her ex-husband's trap. The boy was really just someone he had brought in to act like their son. Out of nowhere, he popped up behind her, caught Libby off guard, and then, without a second thought, shut her in a coffin to suffocate her. When Libby came to, she realized she was lying in a coffin, completely unable to move. Because of a flickering light, she actually spotted a corpse right next to her. Libby started to feel overwhelmed, calling out for help, but no one seemed to hear her. But you know what? Justice really does come out on top. Libby suddenly recalled the gun she always had on her, and luckily, it was still tucked away in her pants pocket. In a clever move, she shot the latches on the coffin with the gun, managing to escape with her life. Then she started to break out. The police kept on with their investigation, thinking that Libby was innocent. Libby strolled down the street, her appearance a bit messy. When the police found her, she just started crying uncontrollably. Nobody really understood what the girl had just experienced. That evening, the police headed over to Libby's ex-husband's place. He showed proof that he had pretended to die to hurt his wife. Wow, this murderer was really calm, wasn't he? He told him he'd give him $100 million to keep this under wraps. The police chief acted like he was on board, then casually asked him how to handle Libby without any mess. The ex-husband grinned with a sense of victory, claiming she was gone. He mentioned it in a laid-back way, lacking any warmth. Just then, Libby walked in, and his face went pale. Libby made him share their son's address. Once Libby got the info, she just fired a warning shot at him, since she had already called the police before arriving here. Before, he had painted her as someone who kills husbands. Now, she was ready to reveal him as the one who attempted to kill his wife, since their recent chat had been caught on tape by the police. Libby believed she had finally finished her revenge by using her own methods to take him down. He's going to have to spend the rest of his life behind bars, but out of nowhere, he pulled out a gun. The police rushed in to protect Libby, putting themselves in harm's way. He kept firing, eager to tie up all the loose ends. Right at that crucial moment, the police came in and tackled him to the ground. Each side really put in the effort to bring down the other. The police officer got hurt, so he ended up losing the fight. Right when he was about to pull the trigger, Libby surprisingly shot first. A gunshot rang out, and just like that, his life felt like it was done for. At last, Libby was cleared of all charges. Also, since it was about self-defense and protecting the police officer, she didn't end up going to prison. Now that everything was sorted out, Libby hurried to catch up with her son. What really drove her to her limits wasn't hatred. It was her love for her son. Libby headed over to the kid's school. Even after 6 years apart, she still knew her son when she saw him. The boy gradually moved closer, shifting from uncertainty to confidence. The boy quickly spotted his mom too. Libby wrapped her arms around her son in a warm hug. The woman had managed to reclaim her innocence through her hard work.